Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Linker, and I'm an account manager with AQL Technologies. I would like to welcome everyone to today's webinar, Transform Your Digital Workspace and SharePoint Intranet. We're excited to have you with us as we delve into SharePoint Intranet and how it can revolutionize your digital workspace and enhance your collaboration and productivity. Joining us today, we have Sameer Mohammed, our Microsoft practice lead, and Rizwan Ansari, Microsoft and SharePoint Solutions Architect. They will guide you through the key features and best practices for leveraging SharePoint Intranet, drawing on their extensive expertise to help you transform your digital workplace effectively. So before we get started, a little bit about AQL Technologies. We're a Microsoft Gold partner, and we've been in business nearly 2 decades. 100 plus successful projects delivered, 100 plus satisfied clients and growing. We're a team of about 200 Microsoft certified experts. Whether you're looking for a project manager, business analyst, developer, pretty much you name it. We are also GSA Schedule 70 certified and SBA 8A certified as well. We have a focus on doing business with federal, state, local governments, and as well as Fortune 1000s and nonprofits as well. So a little bit about AQL's offerings. These are located directly on the Microsoft App Store. I highly suggest you check them out. One of them is the Center of Excellence Starter Kit. I don't know where everyone lies on their Center of Excellence journey, but this is a very, very good product to check out. And our next one is RPA for invoice processing. So I don't know where you're at if you've started your robotic process automation journey, but we have a lot of clients taking advantage of these offers, so I highly recommend them. So before we get started, webinar rules. We are going to have 4 sets of polls, 3 questions apiece. If you can answer them to the best of your ability, that would be great. Also, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to bring them up in the chat. If we don't get them answered by the end of the webinar, we'll get you an answer within 2 business days. Now I'm going to hand things over to our Microsoft practice lead, Sameer Mohammed.
Thank you, Steve. Guys, my name is Sameer Mohammed, and I am the practice lead at AQL Technologies. In this session, we will talk about what it takes to build a successful intranet, personalized intranet, in fact, that streamlines workflows across teams. We'll cover what a successful implementation approach should look like, the key points to keep in mind, and the key features that this platform provides for an intranet. So my colleague Rizwan will demonstrate sample intranet. Intranets discuss the information architecture, the content management, out-of-box web parts, branding, security, permissions, and navigation, and a whole other things, and show you how to even analyze the intranet usage, without which you just can't gauge the usage of the intranet. So finally, he will also showcase some of the features of AQL's commercial intranet web parts, which has been used by thousands of intranets all around the world. Now let's go ahead and talk about the successful implementation approach. Okay, so this is something that AQL has used. So this what you're gonna see over here is something that AQL has used over the years, over and over again, to achieve a highly successful implementation projects. Okay, and this is what Microsoft recommends as well. So we have customized it as per our implementation needs. You can just use it the way it is. It's a very popular, way of implementing intranets. So this basically comes with 4 different implementation approaches. The first one is Explore, and in here, basically what we do is we take a look at what's possible over here. Look at some real world examples, check out the SharePoint lookbook, for some designs, try some guided walkthroughs, so the idea is to get inspired by what SharePoint can do for your business, especially if you're new to SharePoint and this is the first time that you're creating an intranet on SharePoint. If you have an implementation partner like AQL, a partner who's done several intranets over the years, then what we usually do is that in this stage, we also hold workshops for you, so that you understand, what are the different features of SharePoint, what can be done within SharePoint, and even show you some examples of SharePoint as well. Try getting you as much familiar with SharePoint as possible. We then also help you identify who will be part of your steering community, like your sponsors and your stakeholders, and how to really work with them. And by the way, once you have like a solid team, uh, one of the things that we do in the explore stage is basically document all of the requirements as thoroughly as possible, holding interviews with these stakeholders and the sponsors, and a lot of times these stakeholders can be, high level, people who are running all the different departments in your organization, so basically run interviews with them so that you can really, you know document the scope of the intranet. And by the time you're done with this stage, I expect you to have a lot of backlogs of what is needed, as part of the intranet. So now let's go ahead and talk about the second stage over here, which is the align stage. And in the align stage over here, and by the way, before jumping into the align stage, take some time to understand how the intranet governance works, because basically, that's something that you will be developing as part of the line stage. You need to plan over here how to manage your intranet. And that's one of the things, that's one of the most important things over here. Work with your team, with your IT team or business owners, the marketing team, to really go ahead and prioritize all of these different projects. It could be like, hey, I need the marketing department first, I need the IT department later, the sales. So it could be a lot of different combinations. It could be your customizations as well. Audit the content also that you already have and come up with a solid governance plan. you know so also think about how you will design the whole intranet, including, hub sites and branding, and explore tools like Microsoft Synnex, Viva, Microsoft Teams. So all of these tools, which is built within all of these SKUs built within Microsoft 365, that provide enormous value for creating these intranets. So here I also recommend creating a project plan and a technical implementation document which lays out even the technicalities of the technologies to be used and how this intranet is going to be developed. So the next stage over here is going to be implementing it. And in the implementation stage, so now you will be looking into really implementing it. If you already have an information architecture that you have already defined, might be in the line stage. If not, this is where you get started with defining things like the information architecture. Basically, this is where after all the AQL, what we do is that we basically lay out all the blueprint of how you want this intranet to look like: information architecture, permission, security, Microsoft Synnex, metadata, taxonomy, use of Copilot, use of AI, all those great things, hub sites, so we basically create a blueprint, by this stage. And so pretty much what's happening in this stage is that the developer comes in and then really gets started doing the build of intranet, laying out the information architecture, creating your list, creating your sites, your home page, your department home pages, your list and libraries, your permissions, so really the customizations, business process automation, any of that. So you are ready to build here, set up the home site, the hub site, the pages, which is basically the core of your intranet. So make sure that the right people also see the right things, which is laying out the right audiencing. And as you go, gather feedback from your team and test things out with real users to make sure everything works smoothly. This is part of the UAT as well. Plan a whole UAT. Plan over here, you know, plan how you will communicate the launch and keep everyone in the loop, using tools like Viva and Stream. By the time you're done with this stage, you have an intranet that is developed and verified with your core team. And this is where we're talking about the last stage, which is engage. And in the engage stage, finally, when your intranet is alive, monitors performance using the analytics which are offered by Microsoft 365. And believe me, you probably might have the world's best intranet, but if there's not much of employee engagement, I consider that as a failure. So make sure that there's trainings involved as well, adoption, that your site owners and authors are trained to manage their content properly. And you can even use things like tools like Microsoft Learning Pathways to make trainings available to your SharePoint pages. And by the time you're done with this engagement stage, make sure you identify even trainers from several different departments who are going to be the champions, the adoption champs of all those different departments. So these are some of those tactics that we use in the engage stage to make sure that there is proper adoption and implementation of the intranet. So now let's go ahead and talk about the technical implementation part, the technical approach which we take. I'm going to go ahead and in this section, I'm going to go ahead and talk about what are some of the key features of SharePoint and how you would be using to really go ahead and implement a rock solid intranet. Okay. And after this, Rizwan's going to be covering these in more detail, even show you a demo. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with some of these features. So the first one is the SharePoint information architecture, which I believe is one of the most important things. I've seen intranets where money has been spent so much, but the thing is that it's still not scalable. It still doesn't have a rock solid, intranet. So make sure that an intranet has been a proper information architecture has been thought through, has been implemented. Make sure that it's modern architecture with things like flat files, modern UI, hub sites, site templates, team communication sites, Office 365 groups for security, Power Platform for business process automation, and a lot more. So make sure that it's all modern, where your investment is happening. You don't want to go ahead and implement anything which is classic, and I still see that as happening. Design your intranet so that it's extremely scalable. Also, information can be rolled up from several different subsites over to the main site. Using hub sites, lay out your architecture so that department site template is flexible and can be adjusted as the need grows. Also, with the proper architecture, you can achieve better integration with Microsoft Teams as well, so that anything like your document management system, your users are even using Teams for document viewing, upload, and download as well. The second thing is branding. Another extremely important feature is the branding of the site itself. And this differs from company to company. A lot of at times companies say, hey, let me just get something functional. Other companies, they are very heavy on the branding. So make sure that uh, there are several different approaches to it. For something real fast, it could just be SharePoint Lookbook. Just start with that, take the branding from it, and then create your site templates out of it. Other second, more involving approach would be creating like custom designs for your branding, for your home pages, for your department home pages, and all of those things. These allows you to tailor your intranet to match your organization's very unique identity. Now let's go ahead and talk about the third point, which is permissions and security. Another extremely crucial thing, make sure that you're using Office 365 groups, SharePoint security groups, as your, might be content audiencing as well. So these are some of those things, especially Office 365 groups and SharePoint security that you use for permissions. And as you know, Office 365 groups can be used to manage permissions across multiple services. Like it could be around SharePoint sites, Teams, OneDrive, Power BI, and just, Stream, and then just name it. Whereas SharePoint group security is very specific to just SharePoint. So combination of both of these will give you really, really good security. Communication and collaboration. Now, this is another great feature of SharePoint as an intranet. Let's go and talk about it. It lets you, you know, uh, tools like the home page, the news feed, announcements communication sites. So all these let you share information across the organization. For collaboration, it integrates seamlessly with Teams, OneDrive, Office 365 in itself, for allowing teams to manage projects and collaborate in real time across any device. So let's go ahead and talk about employee engagement now. Uh, SharePoint Online can be used, for better employee engagement, through communication sites, discussion boards. It supports, and the thing is that collaborative workspaces can be created over here, where employees can easily share ideas, co-author documents, and work on projects together. You can use, Microsoft 365 Viva Connections. You can use Microsoft, Viva Engage, which was formerly Yammer, to really go ahead and do some serious social networking, social engagement for the employees. Really strong features over here. Now let's go ahead and talk about the next point, which is the content management. And SharePoint offers strong content management features with capabilities like version control, metadata, document libraries. You can keep track of changes and keep your files in order. And use these automated workflows to really go ahead and implement, content approvals. Also, you're going to see that there's going to be a very specific set of users, which is the content managers, and these are those users who are not really technically too savvy. So you want to make sure that their reach of editing content within your SharePoint Intranet is very limited, and you could do that as well, by providing them just access to what they want. So really great features on content management as well. Let's go and talk about intranet usage analytics. In line with what I was saying, if you have the world's best intranet, and if it's not being used, then there's no point in it. If you can measure it, then you might as well just not use it. And this is what you use. You can use Microsoft Clarity to provide insights into user behaviors with heat maps and session recording. SharePoint site usage, for basically page views and popular content. Microsoft 365 adoption score monitors how well tools like SharePoint are being used, identify areas for improvement. So together with these, it provides a lot of value, to see how much is your intranet being used. Let's go ahead and talk about the next point, customizations and business process automation. You can use to start with all the out-of-the-box features, and you can configure them instead of customizing them, and which is easy. You can do a lot with that. But there's times when you have to go ahead and customize it, and you can use, SPFX. It's a great programming language. It's pro code tool, and all of the SharePoint Intranet web parts are done using SPFX. But whereas if you want to go ahead and use business process automation, definitely go ahead and use Power Apps as well. A lot of this depends on your company's, governance on customizations. But Power Apps and Power Automate are great tools. Chatbot like Power Virtual Agent, go ahead and use that as well, for your customization and business process automation needs. Let's go ahead and talk about another very important point, which is governance. So governance lets you define rules and policies to manage your environment, your intranet effectively, ensuring that it's secure and it meets compliances and there's resource efficiency. It really helps you define who's going to do what in here. And this is a project in itself. And if you haven't embarked on a journey of developing a governance for your intranet, now is the time. Record management. Microsoft Purview in Microsoft 365 allows you to go ahead and classify, keep, and manage records in SharePoint in a central place. It helps securely, dispose of records when they're not longer needed. Another great tool. Data loss prevention policies, which is again part of Microsoft Purview. It is crucial to ensure that any of your confidential information is only shared with those authorized individuals and that company data protection policies are followed. Document management system. This is one of those very important things, which is the core of SharePoint. You can use features like, version controls, metadata tagging, check and checkout, and a lot more. You can also go ahead and use Microsoft Sync, something if you haven't already used, to really go ahead and populate this metadata automatically, making use of AI. It's a very great tool. Go ahead and explore that. And you can use Power Automate for, for document approval system as well. And last but not the least is search. What good is your entire system if you don't have a rock solid search? And search is so strong in SharePoint that you could just go ahead and not integrate search with Microsoft 365 content sources, but even third-party content sources as well. Something that we have done a lot. So it can crawl through content, documents, metadata, tags, file properties, just basically name it. And the best part is that you can even customize it, to present an extremely personalized results from Microsoft Graph. So this is just some of those high level, technical features that SharePoint has, and this is what we leverage to develop an intranet for you. Uh, with this being said, I will now let Rizwan take over from here and let you see some real code demos and even talk about information architecture. All yours, Rizwan.
Thank you, Sameer, for covering those key areas. So now let's look into the SharePoint information architecture a little more in detail. Um, So information architecture in SharePoint refers to the structured design and organization of information and content within the SharePoint environment. So it encompasses the way information is categorized, stored, and access to ensure that it easily is navigatable, uh, discoverable, and usable. So proper information architecture helps user find a relevant content as quickly and supports effective uh, collaboration and content management. So let's look into the key areas of information architecture, starting with the site structure, uh, which can be further branched into hub sites, site collections, and subsites. Now, hub sites are designed to connect and organize multiple SharePoint sites based on departments. It could be projects or region or any other business needs that you have. So they allow for better management, navigation, and then consistent branding. Also, content aggregation, where you can aggregate content and discovery across related sites. Uh, let's take an example where you have a large corporation where they have various departments such as HR, you have IT, and then you have finance. So each department has its own site collections. So by creating hub sites for each department, organization can ensure that all related sites, for example, it can be HR policies, it can be IT support, finance reports, are all, so these are all connected provide together by providing a unified navigation experience and consistent branding across all of these connected departmental sites. Then we have site collections where these are group of related sites and that share common feature like permission. It could be navigation. So properly planning these site collection helps in managing permissions and content effectively. For example, you may create a site collection where for a major project. So these could be sites for project planning. It could be sites for documentation, or maybe it's team collaboration. So this structure allows for centralized management of permissions and navigations. So which ensure that all projects related content is easily accessible and secure. Then we have subsites where, so these are sites created under site collection, and this used to happen in on-premises a lot. So so this can be a just project site or departmental sites also, where we used to create all subsites within site collections. Now, but with modern SharePoint architecture, so it's recommended that that we use a flat site architecture where all these subsites are created as site collection. So it doesn't have any hierarchy as such, but all are as a flat structure. But these are again put into an hierarchy using hub site navigation, which we'll see later in this demo. You have content types where So which is also an important element of the information architecture. Uh, so you have in content type, these content types are set of metadata and site columns. So which are related to uh, related settings uh, that you can use across list, libraries, and documents. So they help keep things consistent and make it easier to organize and manage different type of content. S- So we have term store in SharePoint that lets you create a central list of terms that you can use across your sites and libraries with the help of managed metadata columns to tag and organize your content. So this improve your search a lot and keeps things consistent across your organization. Then we have columns and site columns. So columns are created at the list level, whereas site columns are a reusable column created at the site collection level. So you can use it in any list or library as needed. The next element is a navigation where you have hub site navigation. So this links all your sites under one main hub and provides a consistent menu across all site collection. We'll see that later in this demo. Uh, so it helps user find content and move between sites easily as it provides a consistent hierarchy. Then you have a local navigation. So this is very specific to a site collection where you add some navigation element which is just local to your site collection, which it will not be replicated across your all your site across your site collection. Security is something we'll also have a look in detail further in this demo. Moving next is a best practices, which we have gathered up over the period of time, like when we delivered services to our customers. So first is understand your users' needs and requirement, where it's important that you conduct stakeholder interviews, you have surveys done and user research, uh, understand how different teams and department will use this SharePoint. So the design the information architecture around these needs, so around these real business needs and user behaviors. Then you have a plan for flat structure, so that I've talked earlier, where you should avoid deep hierarchies, don't create subsites in your in your like in the site collections. Just use straightaway site collection and link them together using hub sites. Then again, hub sites for consistency. So the hub sites provide you consistency across all your site collection, where you can just provide consistent navigation in all your different site collections. Leverage content types and metadata. We have already talked that earlier. Then design user-friendly navigation, where you have to ensure that you create user-friendly navigation and it's easy to use, easy to navigate, find any content. To find any content, it's easier to find it. Also ensure that you standardize a naming convention, whether it be a site collection, whether it be a list or libraries, ensure that you have standardized naming convention. So design for search optimization, where you use descriptive metadata, content types, and then proper titles to optimize your SharePoint search capabilities. So ensure that content is categorized and tagged effectively so a user can easily find relevant document and information. So establish ownership of the sites and give them ownership and responsibility in the site. Let's explore the practical steps and best practices for implementing a SharePoint intranet. So we'll start by reviewing when to choose between your team sites and communication sites, followed by a deep dive into your implementation approach for branding to ensure engaging user experience. We'll also cover the admin experience of creating the new intranet, where you, new intranet, including site security and navigation best practices. Additionally, we'll examine how AQL web parts play a crucial role in enhancing the intranet's functionality and user experience. Finally, we'll explore the site usage analytics reports available in SharePoint, providing valuable insights into user engagement and behavior. So when setting up a SharePoint online site, you have the option to choose between team site and communication site. So team sites are designed for, let's have a quick let's have actually have a quick look into the difference between these two sides and when to choose team side, when to choose communication side. So team sites are designed for team collaboration, where uh, it's ideal for smaller group or departments working together on projects or ongoing tasks, whereas communication site are designed for broadcasting information to wider audience. So communication sites are ideal for sharing news, reports, events, and any other information across the organization. Moving further, we branding in SharePoint is when planning for SharePoint branding for your intranet, there are several key considerations that you have to do. So one of this is understanding your audience, identify identify your the needs and preferences for of your users. So this includes considering different department, region, and roles within your organization. So just talk to them and understand their needs. Then have consistency with corporate identity. So ensure that your branding aligns with your company's overall brand guidelines. So which includes logos, it can be colors, fonts, maybe images on the site. Uh, Modern versus classic experience. So here now the default way is the modern way. So earlier when we used to do the migration, we have to decide between modern versus classic experience. But now the way to go is the modern way. Then you have custom themes and templates where you can utilize these custom themes and templates to create a consistent look and feel across your intranet. You have hub sites uh, which you have to use for consistent navigational experience. Then user experience uh, has has to be focused on creating a clean, attractive, and easy to navigate site. So just avoid clutters and ensure that the design is very intuitive. Ensure that you create your design which is responsive, even if you're creating custom SPFX solution. So ensure that your solution is responsive. So because the site is used will be used across various devices. It could be mobile, tablets, or desktop. So it has to adapt to all the design, all different real estate. So you have uh, make sure that that your internet compliance with relevant regulations and is necessary and is accessible to all users, including those with disabilities. Then keep the feedback loop. So just keep improving on your design as needed. Get the feedback from the user. Mm. Further, when we are creating a site, you select from two different options, whether it's SharePoint Lookbook, where you have all ready to use templates, or you might have very specific requirement you create custom templates, right? Where you need to have very specific web parts on your pages, specific layout that needs to be there. So at that time you choose your custom template. You first create custom template, deploy it to your intranet, and then make it available for it for the admins to use it when they're creating the site. So so this is the SharePoint branding approach at AQL. So at AQL, we take a collaborative approach to understand and deliver branding and content needs to our client. So we begin by conducting workshops with stakeholders to thoroughly understand their vision, branding requirement, and content strategies. Based on these insights, we develop wireframes and mockups, as you can see here on the screen on the left-hand side, which allow us to visually represent the final product, at least the placement of the product, and ensure alignments with the stakeholder expectation earlier in the process. Then, based on this wireframe, we create 2 to 3 design options with different color combinations, so and give it to the to the stakeholder, to our customers. So and eventually we arrive at the final SharePoint, actually the design, final design, and then it gets implemented as a SharePoint site, which is the final outcome that you can see on the right hand side. The design that I was showing on the PPT. So this is the outcome of the that workshop that we have with the customers. we create this final design, and then it gets implemented in SharePoint. So this is one of the design for manufacturing domain. Then this is another design which is yeah, which is a home page. Then we have the human resources site. Again, it has various different element, quick links, links, click to action images. So then other is again home page where you have a lot of content and for the users to keep engaged with. And then this is other design we have. So these are various design that we create with for our customers. This is actual site, SharePoint site that I wanted to show to you, so that we created, which is combination of out of the box plus AQL web parts. Some we'll have a look at it in a little more in detail later. So this is fully functional SharePoint site. You have hero web part, you have CEO message, then you have people search, where you can search your directory for a specific individual, and all further you can do refinement also, search by department, search by location, a lot of things are there. And news, announcements, and events and quick links, kudos, surveys, learning zone, that these are just quick again links to different areas. And then content managers of the site, so you can reach out to. So yeah, so this is all about let's do a quick creation of the SharePoint site, and let's see the admin experience when they create a new site, how uh, uh, what are the different options they get, and how to go about creating it. So I'm on the SharePoint start page, where you'll have all the news sites and frequent sites. So over here you can create new posts, you can create sites. So I'll click on create site over here. Then you're given two options: team site or communication site. So based on your needs, you can just choose one of these. I'll select communication site, and now it gives lists me all the templates. So these are actually a lookbook template that's available with SharePoint. Uh, Microsoft has provided this SharePoint lookbook template, so these are ready to use template. You can just select one and just create a site, which gives you a, a launchpad to actually. It will have all the uh, web parts and everything that's around that template, and then you can just use it to and modify it as needed. So it gives you a launchpad for it, like ready to use site templates. And if you have your organization's template that you have deployed, so those will be available over here, where you can just select one of them and create a new site based off that organization template. So I'll just go ahead and create organization home, which will have one home page and three additional pages will be there, and there will be a few web parts on the page which says that like news, organization resources, and then other web parts available. So I'll just create this real quick. So I can give a description here, but I'll just leave it blank for now. Then the language, I'll keep it English. I'll click on create site. So it will take a while to create the site, and you can see that it's applying the template. So it's applying all these various web parts, and it's creating pages behind the scene, all those three pages that it had listed down. So same thing happens with the custom template, where you define what you need. So and you deploy it to your organization tenant. So even that does the same thing. It uses site scripts in the background and create those pages and components on the page and deploys those web part on the page. So now this site is ready and available to use. Um, So we can see here it has hero web part, location and times web part. These are all out of the box created on the fly. You have news, you have countdown timer to the event for to next town hall, quick links, upcoming events, then frequent sites for the current user, Viva web part where you can discuss, share ideas, and everyone can collaborate to it. So this is what it's created, and there are some pages it created, who we are, what's happening. So who we are has some video in it. You can just go ahead and modify it as needed and add your own video. Uh, so yeah, then what's happening, and you can create your own pages as needed and modify these pages as needed. So yeah, so this lets you create sites and this makes the task very much easy. These lookbook templates. Let me show you some other SharePoint designs that are actually working intranet. So this is again based on all out of the box intranet. So this is the same theme that I have shown you, where we created wireframes, we created designs, we created the intranet home. This is even this human resource site followed the same process, where we worked with them to understand their needs, and we created this human resources site where we have this uh, hero web part. You have quick links, announcements, events, then tools and links to various tools and resources categorized by uh, uh, all these links are categorized. So you have conversation, employer, labor, links, HR, payroll. So also you have people web part, which shows you the owner of the site, and then you can have links to various other applications in your site or external application. Just link it from here. So this is HR side. Then the other side is the IT side. This is all sample side that uh, to give you a feel of how a proper branding experience can create a proper branding process can create a very intuitive, very good looking SharePoint intranet. So this is IT site where it has all things related to IT or links to various IT application and yeah, events to the all IT events. So yep. Um, so moving back to my that default intranet that I created, I think it's over here. Yep. So here, just one more thing is the customization of this thing. So this is something we have created using our outer box template, right? So you can further customize the look. You can change the theme as needed. So you can just go ahead and select any other theme you want, which will give you that's based on like your organization needs. So you can just select one of these, and if this doesn't uh, work for you, you can go ahead and create your own custom theme. So this is something this is Theme Designer actually that's Microsoft has provided, where you can generate your own theme. Just give the primary color, your text color, and the background color, which will uh, yep, which will just generate it, and you can just export it from here. So for example, if I'm giving some color which is not compatible from the accessibility perspective, so it gives you those warnings over here. So you can adjust your colors and text colors and the background color to actually make it compatible with the accessibility checker. So this well, let's look into SharePoint permission and security. So the SharePoint security structure is comprehensively illustrated in this diagram. So which is divided into three components, as you can see, the permission levels on the left hand side, users and groups, and then you have securable objects at the bottom. So permission levels are this. So this defines a specific set of permission that can be applied within SharePoint. So permission levels determine what action users can perform, such as viewing, editing, or even deleting the content. And then you have users and groups where uh, you can it categorizes the entities to which permission can be assigned. So it includes individual users, SharePoint group, or it could be Microsoft 365 group. So, so these groups help manage permission efficiently by grouping users with similar access needs. Then you have secureable object at the bottom. So permissions can be applied at various level within SharePoint. So these are the various level, like site level. Then you have list or library level. Then you can even apply permission at the folder, item, or document level. So these are the different aspects of the of SharePoint permission. So by combining these elements, permission levels and user groups, and then and secureable objects at the bottom. So SharePoint ensures a robust and flexible security framework. So this structure allows for or for very precise control over who can access and modify the content at different levels with SharePoint environment within the SharePoint environment. Further, if we see team and communication side, both have slightly different permission structures. So team is designed for collaboration. So most member by default have grid permissions, whereas communication sites is focused on sharing the information. It's for broadcasting the to all the information to the audience. So this is uh, communication site by default have view access to everyone. Only the owners have the edit access. Further, let's look into the best practices. We Some of the best practices that are there that needs to be considered for SharePoint permission and security. So follow the principle of least privileges. So grant the permission, grant the minimum level of permission actually to for access to the users to perform the task. So don't give any more permission than what they need. Use SharePoint groups, not individual permissions, so because it will be very much difficult to maintain that if you are assigning ad hoc users to your site. Create a group and then assign the permission to uh, through that group. So that group will have access to your site. So any new user that need access to it, just add it to that group. Don't give direct permission to that user. Then don't minimize the broken inheritance or unique permissions in your libraries and lists, because it has some it has some limitation actually. So don't use too many unique permissions in your list and libraries. Then set permission at the site level as much as possible. Avoid breaking the inheritance of those lists and libraries uh, as much as possible unless you need to break it. But let the permission flow from site to those lists. Then control sharing settings. So manage sharing options to prevent any unauthorized access. uh, Adjust settings to limit sharing to specific domains or groups. So that's pretty much possible. Then regularly audit your permissions as needed. Then have a look at the hub site navigation, um, how we can create the hub site. So let me just share my browser window again. Give me a second. So yeah, here we go. So this is a SharePoint Admin Center, and here I'm in Active Sites tab. So these all sites are available to me. Okay, so let's see how the hub site works over here. So now let's take this to site and create hub sites. So I'll just first register this site as a hub site. I'll just keep the zip default name communication site and save it. I can add people over here, like giving permission only to those people who can associate. So only the people listed over here will be able to associate new hub site to this. Okay, so I'll just save here for now. Here we go. Now we have this hub site. Then let's have, probably we might have IT site. So I'll also promote this site as a hub site. And then I will, so this is a Contoso site, just keep it as Contoso IT, and I will save it. So now what I can do is I can add this as a associate hub to the communication site. So I'll just go here and I'll click on edit hub site setting. I will say, okay, make this site as a associated hub to the communication site, and I'll click on save. So now what happens is uh, this site became an associated hub to this communication site. Let's have a look at it. I'll click on this. So uh, actually I had added this in the past, so I'll just remove it now. I'll just show you how you can actually go about adding it. So usually you'll have this thing and you can click on add link and you can say associated hubs and press OK. So it will show you those site that's added to this as a associated hub, and you have this ready to use link available. So this navigation will be consistent across all your hubs, associated hub. This gives you very consistent navigation. And usually when we uh, so there's an option here, change the look. Usually when we create the hub site, usually we disable this navigation, the local navigation, because it becomes redundant. Uh, so let me just click on this. Okay, navigation. Okay, this is already disabled now. So usually you'll have this navigation available over here. So let's just generally people disable that because you already have a hub site at the top. Unless you have some local navigation that you want to add some elements over here, you can just add it here. Okay, so this is how hub site experience looks like. And further, just let me just complete other thing that I missed out while showing you this thing. So this is theme experience, like, so we have other option like in the header where you can just change the header options by selecting any one of these options: standard, extended, minimal. You can change the background as needed. So based on your need, you can set the title visibility as needed. So it's all about your need, what you have gathered, what you have understood from the end user. Change the site logo, change the thumbnail of the site logo. So all this is possible here from the change the look option. Then you have navigation. You can actually disable it, as I have told you that it's gone now. You can enable it. You can change the styling of this navigation. Then you have footer at the bottom. You can just disable it if needed, or you can have an extended footer. You can change the logo. You can add display name, change the background color. It's all up to your branding needs. What you have finalized, you can, based on that, you can choose uh, over here. Also, let me show you one a quick. Um, since we're talking about navigation, let me just show you AQL dynamic navigation that we have developed as a product that's deployed to the app source. So okay, let me click on this. So this navigation at the top, slowly let it load. So this navigation at the top is a AQL navigation. So it has very advanced features. So usually your out of the box navigation will not have this option. So you can add a video link. You can add images and icons to these navigation elements. So if you can see You can change the layout of these navigation. So you have this layout, you can go ahead and change navigation layout. So you have several layout options available over here. You can have audience targeting. You can have image and video shown over there. So there are a lot of options which you can play around. This is available as a free trial in the app source, and you can download and use it for 30 days for free and try it out. So this is all dynamic navigation, and this can replace your hub site navigation, and it can even replace your local navigation. So this configuration option is available uh, in this dynamic navigation, AQL dynamic navigation. The next topic is the AQL Internet web part, where uh, we'll just have go through these web parts real quick. Um, so AQL has developed and created this web part and deployed it to the app stores, available for download right away for free for 30 days. So you can just go ahead and download it and then experiment it and use it as needed. So we have several web part deployed to the app stores, whether it's the organization chart, roadmap, employee birthday, spotlight, quick links, kudos, people directory, FAQ, super jobs, Hero Plus, and then more, broken permissions and dynamic navigation. Um, Here, this site has some AQL web part deployed. So this is AQL Hero Plus web part, which has some images. So this is an advanced level of out-of-the-box AQL Hero web part. So it offers you even video content that can be deployed, different other layouts options available. So this is the quick links web part. So it has several layout options available. You can play around, you can use it as per your need, based on your real estate available on your site. You can just go ahead and change the layout at runtime. So suppose I need other layout, you can just check the user's layout, then probably maybe I don't want this layout, you can just go with the layout one. And these web part are all compatible with your themes. So whatever themes are applied, it just inherits all those themes in this web part. So this is the web part, and then there are quick link web part. So there are various other options, like you can turn off the pagination, turn on the pagination. You can set the maximum number of records on a page. So lot of configuration option available. Just go ahead and check that out from the app source. Then you have kudos. Considering the time, I'm just running through this real quick, being cautious of this time available. So we have kudos web part, where employees can give recognition and kudos. Just select a new. I'll just move out from this edit mode. Give me a moment. Okay. So yep. Um, so this kudos web part let you actually give kudos to somebody. You can just go ahead and add new kudos, which will. So there are several options that you can use. So just nominate somebody, select somebody, and then just give kudos to that person. Once kudos is done, people can uh, con contribute. Like there's a social feature where people can like. You can see the number of likes given to that kudos. Okay, you can actually see the people who have commented to this kudo. You can actually give a comment to this kudo. Just go ahead and say something over here. You can use these emojis as needed. It's completely rich text box available. Just send a kudos. Uh, send a comment in this kudos, and then yep. So you have we have anniversary web part, birthdays, anniversaries with various different layout options. Just try it out. You have spotlight. Even these are enabled with social feature. You can go ahead and like it. You can yeah, you can give comments to it. So just you can open the LinkedIn profile for this person, and then read more about this person. So it's very engaging. Then we have other web parts like uh, organization chart, which lets you just create a hierarchy. So this kind of org chart at runtime. You can just select any person and then it shows up the hierarchy of that person. You can just pre-configure this based on your department hierarchy, based on a particular, just you can set a CEO at the top and then see his hierarchy. So it's very, and you have various other layout options available you can configure for this web part. The last one in this demo will be hero broken permission. So you can just search your site for all the broken permission available, all those broken links or broken permissions, which you can just go ahead and manage it as needed. It's time for polls now. Let's do a quick poll.
Great, thank you, Rizwan. Well, that's going to about wrap us up for this webinar. I want to thank Sameer and Rizwan for all the great information. If anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to reach out to me, 773-793-1619. My email is also out there, so feel free to email me, call me anytime, and I look forward to seeing everyone in the next webinar, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, everyone.